Okay, so we're on our break in rehearsal 1. We just went through everyone's names and stuff, and then we got a presentation of the set and the production side of things, and it's looking really cool. You can tell the production team has worked insanely hard. I have about 5 minutes left of my break, and then we're gonna do a read-through of the play. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous. Don't mind me with my apple. I'm just getting a snack while we have another break. So we've done a read-through of half the show, and it's going well so far. I'm really enjoying it, aside from a couple glitches that were to be expected. Something David keeps saying that's really important to mention is that we're not ignoring the fact that this is theater gone online, if that makes sense. He keeps pointing out how we're literally trying to transfer theater online and create almost a new kind of theater, like a stem off theater, a branch off of it. So we just finished rehearsal 1, and I think it went really well, aside from those small technical glitches. Oh, I wrote a bunch of notes on my hand because I forgot paper. It was really cool to see everyone's interpretation of their own character, and I have a much better idea going forward of the relationships and the dialogue. And so it's just crazy to think how much it changes once you actually get in the room with the other actors who are playing those characters. A really interesting point that David brought up was that he wants us to think of the characters as our own age, because for example, my character is 46. I personally am 21. So there's quite the age gap there. But he essentially gave us the idea that everyone 30 and up is dead. We're the only ones living in this society anymore, and so we have to take on that role that 30 and up would, but now as our own age. And I remember from last vlog, I wanted to touch on how different it is between doing the intensive and actually working a Zoom on Zoom call. 10 times better. I love it. So we're starting at scene 1 today, and the plan today is to go through scenes 1 through 3 in this 4-hour rehearsal. So Molly, our associate director, is gonna walk us through a warm-up from 6 to 6:30. So with the environment that he's describing for us, one of the examples he gave was Lord of the Flies, and that, you know, we're kind of these young creatures that need to act like adults, but we have that mindset where we're almost vulture-like, I guess. And he's having us play around a lot with the physicality, playing with space and distance from the camera. So how close can I get? How far away can I get? What does that change? So we just finished rehearsal. We did scene 3 for the last hour, and David sent us away with a little question to ponder: what happens in between scenes? Oh, this is something I wanted to mention. Contradicting the script. So by that, I mean you have a certain line in the script, say, I'm meant to be lying on the floor right now. Instead, I'm standing up with my arms stretched out to the ceiling. That contradiction is not ignorance, but rather it's a choice. Something David touched on tonight that I thought was really important was earning the audience's attention. So especially being online, it's really hard to stay focused. And as I mentioned earlier, that's finding different camera angles and experimenting with our bodies in the space that we have around us. Here comes my cat. She's so loud. The vocabulary that David uses to help us with possibilities that may arise as we run the scenes are really situationally funny. So for example, tonight, he passed on a thought to someone saying, you're kind of like that dad who can't figure out FaceTime. And once he says that, I now have an opportunity as the other character in that scene to go, oh, so if he can't see me, but I know the audience can, now I can play with that. We want intrigue to land so that people want to stay. And sometimes that intrigue may come off as crazy and what's going on, but through the lens of the show, think about how that makes sense. I know, my brain hurts too. So I was just on the phone with one of my friends and castmates, Diego Blanco, and we were having a conversation about rehearsal techniques and what's happening in the show. And he said something really great that I didn't even connect with what I was talking about yesterday. So what I was saying about contradiction and earning the audience's attention, this comes from Brecht, and Diego mentioned that to me, and it wasn't something that I even thought about. So we're moving into rehearsal 3, and I actually have a bit of a studio location change. I just got back to St. Catharines, so this is my new little studio setup with my yoga mat, and I have a chair, and then I have my computer piled on a ton of books. So let's get this rehearsal started. Okay, so we just finished rehearsal for the day. In the afternoon after our break, we went through the scenes 6 and 7, and then we dove into a bit of 8. We're trying to explore a lot of creativity with 8. We worked a lot on creating kind of an ensemble moment. Obviously, that's more difficult to do inside Zoom rather than inside a studio. So we not only had to figure out a way to do ensemble work, but then we had to figure out how we can implement that into the show. Ooh, David brought up, I'm not sure if this is a real word or if this is a word that David made up, but I loved it. Techno realities, which essentially means let's face the reality of the situation. We are working from home. Cats may pop into the screen from time to time, so let's use that and roll with it. So a great example today, someone's internet was lagging a lot and they kept cutting out. So rather than stopping and waiting and redoing, we essentially used it to our benefit. So if I had a line that was prompted by hers, but she was cutting in and out, I would kind of sit there and be like, huh, where is she? Like, why isn't she responding? Staying in character and like making it a part of the storyline. I've said previously that this could almost be a mash between theater, TV, and film. We have to treat it like its own type of theater because new things are going to arise and we have to use what's given to us. We were forced into this situation because of COVID. But with that, we kind of have this opportunity to dive in and open up a brand new door. Let's build a new structure. Now, I finally decided to put my camera down because I felt like a nuisance holding it. Everyone in this production is working so insanely hard, navigating the new way that we have to. And we're not using theaters being shut down as a roadblock where we have to do a complete U-turn and dive into something like film. Instead, we're gonna grow some legs on our car and step over it and try and drive it as far as we can go. And along the way, we're gonna have to build some new things, but that's just the way it goes. So apparently I have a thing for editing while wearing this sweater. It's just so cozy. As I'm editing, we've actually finished the first whole week of rehearsals, which was a journey in itself. We had some challenges, but we had some also really exciting things happen. We've already made leaps and bounds through the medium, which keeps my spirits very high, and as I'm sure the spirits of the rest of the cast and crew. I can't speak enough to how phenomenal the production and creative team has been throughout this entire process thus far. They are some truly phenomenal people doing some amazing work. So next week's vlog, I'm hoping to dig even deeper and talk about some more ensemble work. I'm aware of the scenes that we've already been through thus far, and they've been very emotionally stimulating. So my reflections on those have been fueled with some great things that I don't want to disclose because I want you to come watch. So hopefully that was enticing enough for you to want to stay tuned. Thank you for hanging out with me today. And with that being said, I'll see you next week.
Let's go back.